The Eagles, of course, still alive in the playoff picture.
Now, if the Eagles were to lose today, then the Cowboys could clinch the NFC East.
Boniol set to kick off. To Herschel Walker and Thomas Lewis. Lewis, number 81. Both of them have a lot of speed. Boniol starts it. It will be Lewis at the 4. With room. Chased down and knocked out of bounds by Darren Woodson. Headed for the Pro Bowl is Woodson. Deservedly so. Dave Brown quarterbacks the Giants. The offensive line in front of him, Elliott, Bishop, Williams, Lance Smith starting, and Doug Riesenberg. Hampton, the deep back, Charles Way, the blocker, Sherrard, Callaway wide, and Howard Cross, the tight end. Dave Brown, 5-0 as a starter in December in his 4-year career. He did not have a good day last year in this stadium. Fake to Hampton. Rolls and throws, intercepted by Brock Marion on the first play. Bounced off the hand of a Giant receiver. And the Cowboys get a break on the first play from scrimmage. We'd welcome those of you watching Carolina, Atlanta. This is the first play at Texas Stadium.
Well, they started to try and fool the Cowboys. Start off with a bootleg pass. It did hold the linebackers, but it didn't hold Brock Marion.
And this is what Dan Reeves said yesterday he hoped would not happen, that the Cowboys got a break early and got a chance to break on top early.
And Emmett Smith said yesterday, he said, you know, in these last couple games, we haven't gotten any break. Well, they got one there.
Incomplete. Good coverage on Novacek, but a flag down. It's on Michael Irvin. Beg your pardon. Word from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Davis.
Number 22 on the defense. First down.
Red Cashin, the referee. Again, back at Veterans Stadium. Davis, the Arizona kicker, was short on a field goal attempt from near midfield, 47 yards. And so the Eagles have the ball leading by a point. First down, Cowboys. Emmett Smith. Near the 40, stopped by Brooks. Let's look at the Dallas offense. Number 8 is Troy Aikman. And in front of him, that massive offensive line, Tuinei Newton, Derek Kennard, Larry Allen, and Eric Williams. Emmett Smith and Darrell Johnston in the backfield. Kevin Williams and Michael Irvin wide, and Jay Novacek's the tight end. Novacek, there'd been some doubt about whether or not he'd be able to play, and if he did, how long he'd be able to play with a bad knee and a bad ankle.
Felipe Sparks of the Giants is going wherever Michael Irvin goes today.
Novacek on the move, and this is Emmett Smith around the corner. First down, Cowboys, and out of bounds. Randolph knocked him out of bounds. Let's look at the Giant defensive unit. Jamal, Duff, Agnew, Hamilton, and Harris. Duff instead of Strahan. Crow, Brooks, and Miller are the linebackers, and the secondary, Sparks and Thomas Randolph, the cornerbacks, Vincey Glenn and Jesse Campbell, the safeties. And there goes Sparks, as John Madden said, with Michael Irvin.
And Sparks already has a penalty on him because he says he's going to be more physical than Irvin.
Aikman to throw. Steps up. Throws incomplete. Intended for Novacek. Covered by Jesse Campbell. And covered well.
And Felipe Sparks says he's really looking forward to playing against Michael Irvin because all defensive backs like that. I mean, you know, that's a challenge. That's what they want. That's the kind of guy you have to be if you're going to be in a corner. And he said Michael Irvin is a physical guy, but when he gets physical with me, I'm going to get more physical with him. And early in this game, he got too physical with him because they called a penalty on him.
On the first play, Dallas ran. It's 2nd and 10 at the Giant 40. Aikman gives to Emmett Smith. Emmett has no room. Run out of bounds by Sparks.
And it wasn't Larry Allen's fault. Did you see him? I mean, he is so big and so strong and so fast and powerful. He just comes out here and knocks Corey Miller down. Watch him. He's just going to pull from right here. Now watch him come out here. Watch the power that he hits with. Boom. I mean, guys just crumple. I mean, their knees buckle and they just go right to the ground. Now, look what Sparks has to do. Now, we talk about Felipe Sparks being on Michael Irvin. He has to cover him, zone him, bump him, but if they sweep towards him, he has to be the guy that's up in support.
3rd and 10. Somebody jumped. Aikman went on a long count. They might have jumped off sides. That still wouldn't be enough for a first.
But I don't know that I've ever seen a guy that is as powerful as Larry Allen.
False start. Number 84 on the offense.
Novacek.
5 yards, still 3rd down.
84, of course, is Jay Novacek. He's right up here on top. And you're going to see they're trying to get some movement, and Jay Novacek moves before the ball snap.
So that makes it 3rd and even longer. 15, 16.
Jay Novacek really only practiced one day all week, Pat. He has a knee and ankle injury and only practiced on Friday.
Darrell Johnston is the move man. Emmett Smith deep. Aikman to throw it. Has time. Caught by Michael Irvin. And a flag on the play. After the catch, that flag came in late.
And this is what I think the Cowboys have to do. They just can't say they're doubling Michael Irvin, they're zoning him, we're not going to throw it to you. I think a great receiver, you have to throw it to him even when he is doubled.
The 49ers have done it for years. This is against the Giants.
And I think that was one of the problems with the Cowboys, is that if you would rotate towards Michael Irvin with your corner, then the read would take him off him.
Pass interference. Number 22 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
As Sparks said that he was going to be physical with Michael Irvin. See, now, if you would just watch Troy Aikman here, he's going to stay with Michael Irvin.
Yep.
It's not going to be one of those things where he's going to read. You're going to see the penalty here. Here's Felipe Sparks when he puts his hands on him right there. You see, that is double coverage, but if the quarterback has confidence and you have a great receiver, you can still get the ball to him.
Smith. Inside the 15. Lindsey Glenn made the stop.
Yeah, this is a thing that Felipe Sparks said yesterday, Pat, that when they got close, when Michael Irvin got close to him, he was going to grab him. And you see him grab him by that jersey there. What that does, it's a technique. If you don't get caught, it's pretty good because it pulls you towards the receiver. But that time it didn't do him any good either way.
Well, there's a guy that's been under fire. Not Dan Reeves so much recently, although a couple of weeks ago he was. Emmett Smith again. Smith gets down to the 10. I was speaking of Barry Switzer. And the criticism that has been aimed at him after those 2 calls in Philadelphia last week has been beyond belief almost. It's been incredible all over the country.
Yeah, you know, because they win for it and then they didn't get it, and then that put the Eagles in position to win the game, and the Eagles won the game, and you have to live with that. It was a decision that I didn't agree with at the time, and I still don't agree with. But at some point, I think the players and the coaches and everyone, they have to let that one go and get on with it, because this is still a team that is 10-4 and has clinched a playoff berth.
Well, that's one of the keys, as you've often said, to playing cornerback. You got to have a bad memory, and when something like that happens, you also need a bad memory.
Yeah, I always thought that the last game in your mind, win or lose, had to be out of it by Wednesday. You know, that you could think about it Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday, but on Wednesday you couldn't.
The Eagles have clinched the playoff spot with a 1-point victory over Arizona, 21-20. They were down 14-0 early.
Now let's see if the Cowboys can get that yard now. This is 3rd and short, though, not 4th and short.
Right.
That same situation they had last week.
Different formation. Different play, but he didn't get much. It was Emmitt Smith again.
Now Barry Switzer may have that same decision, Pat. He may have that 4th down decision here and have to go for it. I don't think that's the same situation
No,
as being at your own
no.
29, no, but he
Nope.
may have that 4th down situation because they didn't get any movement there, and Emmitt Smith didn't get a 1st down on that play.
It's very close, and they don't show any signs of putting a field goal unit on the team.
Well, what they're
On the
going to
field.
do is ask for a measurement. I think they're going to be short, and I think that the Cowboys will go for it on 4th down, and again, it will be Emmitt Smith.
And they're about a foot short.
If you had a quarterback, there was a good quarterback sneak runner, you would have Troy Aikman sneak, but he does not run a quarterback sneak. Oh, they're going for it. They're going to kick the field goal. Now, last week, I wouldn't have gone for it on 4th down. I would have punted. And I'm saying this before they do it. This week, I would have gone for it on 4th down in this situation.
And Boniol was on with Novacek to hold. Decisions. It's part of being a head coach.
Well, yeah, if last week you did it because you had great confidence in your offensive line, what does it mean this week when you're down here and you don't?
27-yard field goal by Boniol is good, and the Cowboys lead it 3-0.
On the other side, I think it's good to get points on the board.
Yeah, you don't want to come away dry.
We've talked about that all the time, that, you know, that the toughest points that you have to get in any football game are the first ones. Of course, I think the Giant defense did a good job because they started off, their first play was a turnover, an interception, and then their defense came in, and really the Cowboys had good field position, but the Giant defense at least didn't let them get 7 points.
There's Charles Haley, who had back surgery. He was the man who rushed the passer for the Cowboys. He's out for the rest of the year. Maybe, he says, he'll be able to come back if they do get to the NFC Championship game. I doubt it.
Well, he had the back surgery a week ago, and he said that the doctor told him that he wants him to do nothing. He said, in fact, he can't do anything now. He said, but look at it in 2 weeks. He said 2 weeks from now or a week from now, he'll have to go back, 2 weeks after the surgery. And he said by then he could tell whether he was going to be okay to play this year or not, or to play at all or not.
Boniol, who just hit that 27-yard field goal, will kick off. The Cowboys got the pass interception, a deflection that landed in the hands of Brock Marion, and they got 3 out of it. Herschel Walker, Thomas Lewis back deep for the Giants. Line drive kick handled by Walker. Played many games here. Walker. Swanson Davis down to make the tackle. Those of you who watched the Philadelphia victory, welcome to Texas Stadium, where Dallas is up 3-0. St. Louis also, the St. Louis Rams have been eliminated. And those of you who watched that, welcome to Texas Stadium. 1st and 10 Giants at their own 26. Smith made the stop. Let's look at the Cowboy defensive unit. Chad Hennings is number 95. He's in the middle with Hervin McCormick. The 2 tackles. The ends are Leon Lett and Tony Tolbert. Smith, Miles, and Edwards, the linebackers. And the secondary, Deion Sanders, Brock Marion, Darren Woodson, and Larry Brown. 2nd and 7. Hampton got 3. Howard cross moves from left to right. Taken down short of the 35 by Dixon Edwards.
That's one of the things the Giants want to do today is get some motion and some movement. See, because Deion Sanders is going to the wide receiver on the side of the tight end. So what they do is they put the tight end, Howard Cross, on one side. Then Deion Sanders goes to the wide receiver on that side. Then they move the tight end to the other side. So then that put him on the weak side. If that makes any sense. That's what they did.
Does to me. 3rd and about 2. And Brown back to throw it. Out to Chris Callaway, and it'll be a Giant first down.
See, and that's the other thing they want to do to Deion Sanders is get some movement. He likes to play the outside receiver. So Callaway started that time as the outside receiver, went in motion. Now when Deion goes with him, now Callaway is not the outside receiver anymore. He is a slot receiver. See, now here's Deion here. See, now he's the outside guy, and now when he goes in motion, you see what that does to Deion Sanders? That puts him inside, then he becomes the inside corner on the slot.
Hampton, no gain after the first down. Irvin McCormick.
Well, Russell Maryland, injured his toe last week. He's not active today, and he's the guy that really plays well in there at tackle for the Cowboys, especially against the run. Irvin McCormick is playing his place today. Talked to Maryland the other day. He knew he couldn't play today, but he thinks he'll be back for next week.
Irvin McCormick's a guy that just hung around for a year and a half, and now he's getting a lot of playing time. This is Hampton again, and Hampton tripped up by Deion Sanders. For a McDonald's game break, let's send you back to Hollywood and James Brown.
Pat, Philadelphia's defense helped them make it into the playoffs. Greg Davis had been pushed back by 8 yards because of a sack by the Eagles. He missed that field goal attempt. That was a 47-yarder. The Eagles are in the playoffs with that one-point victory over Arizona. Let's take you back to Pat and John.
Ray Rhodes, who coaches the Eagles, has done one heck of a job. 3rd and 4. The Giants at their own 49. Sherrard, the man in motion. Brown back to throw. And takes off with it. Slides, and that's the Giant first down. Slides, probably not a good word for it. Dive for a first down.
Just kind of dive or fly, but you see one thing, that you can't leave a lane open. See your pass rush lanes. If we can just stop it here, you see, when you rush out this way and you rush out this way, you give a big lane here, not only to run in like Dave Brown does, but to throw in. And that's the tackle's fault. You can't have both of your defensive tackles working outside the guards on a pass rush.
Hampton and Charles Way, the two runners behind Brown. Fake is to Hampton. Leon Lett was in Brown's face in a hurry.
Brown just threw that one away. I mean,
had to.
Yeah, that's something. When you make a play fake and you see a big number 78 coming at you, watch Leon Lett here. He's going to be a heck of a defensive end. Well, watch him. He's just going to go to Jumbo Elliott's inside, give him that move, and when Dave Brown makes that play fake, he looks to his left, and the first thing that he sees is Leon Lett. Watch this. See him? He comes out of the play fake, and he puts his head up, and he sees number 78 White.
You don't see people beat Jumbo Elliott like that cleanly very often.
Leon Lett is going to be good here, and I'm sure that he learned that from Charles Haley. I'm sure that's what Charles Haley told him to do.
Here's Brown back to throw it. Swings it outside to Hampton. There's not much room there, but he makes, with his own sheer strength, about 4 yards, Dixon Edwards to make the stop.
Charles Haley was saying yesterday, he told Leon, you just can't get in a grunt contest with this guy. I mean, if he's back off, you have to give him that headbutt and that bull rush. But when he's up on the line of scrimmage, you got to give him that inside move. And that's exactly what Leon Lett did then. The old teacher over there, he'd be pretty proud of that.
Yeah. He's
eating those sunflowers. He's eating the heck out of those things today.
That's good for your back. Bates and Case in the Cowboy nickel package. 3 wide receivers for the Giants, and here comes Chad Hennings.
Yep, and that's because Leon Lett went to the inside. That's that stunt that the Cowboys run so well. You see, here's Leon Lett, and here's Chad Hennings. Now, when he goes in, he's going to come out, and they have to be able to zone that. But watch what this does. You see, when Lett goes to the inside there, they pick him off, but in picking him off, they get off of Chad Hennings. Because Bishop was blocking on Hennings, then he went to Lett, and then when he went to Lett, Hennings was free.
Kevin Williams back deep. Mike Horan, the left-footed kicker. High, good kick. Good kick. Ooh, they almost let it bounce and go in the end zone. They had it surrounded, and they down it at about the 2. Corey Whitmer down to down it. T-shirt and the pupil. Dallas 3, the Giants nothing. An officials conference, and now Red Cashin says timeout. The Cowboys 3, the Giants nothing in the first quarter at Texas Stadium. That wasn't Texas Stadium. That was an ice arena in Dallas.
People, yeah, there weren't a lot of people with their ankles pointing out. This is Leon Lett. They're fixing his pants on that stunt. He blew his pants out.
I hope they don't go too deep. Emmitt Smith gets it out to the 5. Covers up there from the hit from Corey Miller. Boy, that must have been some.
Well, it was that stunt. I mean, he ran. You know, we saw the one time where he hit Dave Brown on that play pass going inside Jumbo. Then we saw him taking inside on that stunt.
Now they're punching holes in it.
He blew out. No, he blew out half his clothes. So now.
Smoke, that was some stunt.
Well, they punch those holes. Then they lace it up. That's how you lace. You punch holes and then you put stuff through to get lacing.
There's Aikman to throw it out of the end zone. Kevin Williams and Aikman miscommunication.
You see what they're doing there, Pat? You see they punch those holes, and now they put the shoestring through it.
Everybody's got a line of clothing. Maybe this will be Let's.
This isn't bad, though. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you just blow out your pants and blow out your shirt on one play. And then they take some shoestring and tie you back together.
Yeah.
And they'll probably cut that off. Yeah, now you're talking.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
So we're going to meet Betsy Ross before we're through. Deion Sanders is in as a wide receiver. Incomplete from Aikman, intended for Deion in his direction.
Yeah, I still think that, you know, when the Cowboys start off, if they're going to get in a rhythm, and Troy Aikman hasn't been in a rhythm in the last 3 or 4 weeks, but I think that rhythm has to come from Troy Aikman throwing to Michael Irvin or Jay Novacek and running the ball to Emmitt Smith. I think when they try and go to Kevin Williams like they did there, they get Deion in there, I think that throws their rhythm off.
This is Jet back at the end of the end zone to punt out of there to Arthur Marshall. Giants should get this ball in pretty good shape, although this is a good punt. Jet got all of it, but Arthur Marshall gets away from the first man. Is met by Swantz at midfield. Jim Swantz has done a heck of a job lately on special teams for Dallas. 3-0. The Cowboys lead a 53-yard punt. Picture starting to clear a little bit. The top 6 teams, remember, make the playoffs. San Francisco, with the Atlanta loss today, clinched the NFC West. Dallas is in. Philadelphia's in. Green Bay's in. Way the man in motion. Hampton, the ball carrier. Chased by Hennings. Missed at the sideline, and he's finally knocked out of bounds by Brock Marion.
See, that's the thing that Leon Lett does well, too, is he not only, you know, is a good pass rusher as a defensive end, but he also plays the run well, and that's what you have to do. You know, I mean, this sweep, he just kept him going right down the line. You just watch him here. You want to boom, hang in here, and then just come right down the line with your guy. Don't get moved. Don't get hooked. Don't get turned in. See how they try and hook him, and he just keeps working to the outside, and then right down the line of scrimmage, so there's no cutback.
They never get to his body.
Two stride.
Hampton to the 40. Darren Smith made the stop. Very close to a Giant first down.
You know, everyone that you talk to when they play the Giants always talk about how big Rodney Hampton is. I mean, most tailbacks aren't that big. I mean, he's kind of fullback size when you get around 230, 235 pounds, and he may not be the fastest or the quickest, but when you tackle him, it feels like you're tackling a guard. It's not like you're tackling a running back.
1st and 10. Gerard was the man in motion. Brown back to throw. Chased again. Screen pass to Hampton. He got some room. Hampton, another Giant first down to the 25. Stopped by Woodson. 15 yards. The screen pass.
Well, here's the thing: is he's in the backfield, so they know that if they're going to run the ball, it's going to be Rodney Hampton. So then they try and throw him this screen. It's another way, in lieu of a run, to get him the ball and get him outside. He got a couple blocks down there and made a couple of moves, and then at the end, it takes a whole bunch of guys to get him down, but he always gets another yard or two.
Most of the guys that get him down are going in the opposite direction. And
on their backs.
First and 10 Giants at the Cowboy 25. This is Hampton. Godfrey Miles at the bottom of the stack.
Yeah, it's funny you see a guy like Rodney Hampton out here today, Pat. I saw him in the lobby of the hotel last night, and he was with his teacher, Mrs. Hamilton, and she was his 11th grade teacher, history teacher, and he nominated her for the teacher of the year, and she came to this game and came to see him and was talking about what kind of student he was and how they had a rule that, you know, if you don't pass, you don't play. And she did him a favor one time.
Herschel Walker split out wide to the left. Excuse me, John. Brown gives to Hampton. Not much there. Met quickly by the middle of the Cowboy defense. Leon Lett. Go ahead.
Anyway, so he was walking, but I mean, here you see a guy tough with a big guy. Guys are hitting him, and last night he was Mrs. Hamilton this, Mrs. Hamilton that, but he wasn't going to be able to play in a game because he wasn't passing, and so she said, "You're not going to play." And then he started to walk out of the room, and he said to her, "Please call me back. Please call me back." She did, and let him do makeup work to pass to play.
And she's here as a result. Here's Dave Brown. Chase finally gets it out of there to Keith Elias. Flag on the play.
And it's right in the area where Dave Brown was, where it's going to be either an illegal hit on Dave Brown or it's going to be holding.
Holding.
It was a ladder. Now, when you see that flag thrown right at the quarterback's feet, it's always going to be one of those two things.
Red Cashin, who lives in Fort Worth, not far from here.
Number 59 on the offense. 10 yards, still third down.
Brian Williams, the guilty party.
And number 59 is Brian Williams, the center. And again, I think it happened late because he starts off. He's okay there. And then I don't know that was holding there. I mean, that looked okay to me. I mean, if you're a big old center and you got stuff like that happening in there, he did get a hold of Chad Henning's jersey, I guess. But that's pretty strong play, too, wasn't it?
3rd and 15. Brown shuttle pass. Redskins ran that a couple of weeks ago and picked up key yardage in their victory over the Cowboys. Now the Giants try it.
Yeah, and that's a tough situation there to run a shovel pass because they needed about 15 yards, so that didn't help them there. The thing that did help them, though, is they got about 5 or 6 yards closer for a field goal.
So Daniel Wiso will try the field goal when the second quarter begins. To begin the second quarter at Texas Stadium, the Cowboys 3-0. Still working on the communication system that malfunctioned earlier on the Giants sideline.
Well, you know, that's if you don't have communication from the booth to the sideline on one team, then the other team has to take theirs out too.
This will be 40 yards out plus a little bit for Wiso. Tommy Maddox holding. Wiso is no good. Maddox and Wiso signaled good, but the officials said no good. And there's only one way to win that argument. The missed field goal, very close.
You can see it's just outside. You know, what they do is they put an official under both ends of the goalpost and then they look as it goes right over their heads.
I've done that many times.
He's still arguing his case over there, but I mean, he's saying that it was inside, but it was outside.
Yeah, he's not going to win. 3-0 Dallas. They have the ball at their own, just outside the 30. Aikman a throw to Moose Johnston. Michael Brooks, the tackler.
That was one of the things that the Cowboys added for this week, because they aren't a big crossing team where they have their, receivers, tight ends, backs, wide receivers coming underneath or coming across, and that was a crossing pattern that time to Moose Johnston.
They got about 4 yards, 2nd and 6.
And that was one thing that the Cowboys were going to do today, is get the Moose a little more involved in their passing game.
Emmett Smith, not much. A couple of yards, maybe 3. Brooks again made the tackle.
Michael Brooks, if you can keep him free, I mean, he's really an undersized middle linebacker, but if you can keep guys off him, he is a good middle linebacker because he's a good tackler. See, if you can keep him where he can come down the line of scrimmage like he did right there and make plays like that, where he doesn't have to take on like big centers and guards and those big 320-pound guys. Of course, what linebacker does want to take on 320-pound guys? But if those linemen can keep the linemen off of him, he'll make a heck of a lot of plays for you.
Very quick. Aikman's tried to come out of the pocket and throw it. Finally throws it down, but somebody jumped early. No flags.
Yeah,
there is one. Yes.
And it came late. That's a surprise, because the thing is once a quarterback gets outside the pocket, he loses his protection.
Aikman was really upset.
I think he's upset that he had to get out of the pocket because he didn't want to get out of the pocket. He's probably also upset because no one was open, and his third upset is that he got hit late.
And he's already got 2 bad legs, 2 bad knees.
Intentional grounding, number 8. The ball was not thrown back to the line of scrimmage.
Maybe that's why he's upset.
Down. 4th down.
Yeah, that's the rule, Pat, is if he goes out, once he gets outside here and he's outside the tackle box, now when he throws the ball, it has to get back to the line of scrimmage. If not, it's throwing the ball away. You see, now when he comes out here, you see the 35 as the line of scrimmage. Now when he comes out here, he has to get the ball to the 35. I don't know that he didn't.
It looked like somebody jumped before the ball was snapped. I could be wrong about that. Marshall fields the punt by Jet. Arthur Marshall still on his feet, close to midfield, about the 47 where the Giants take over. Dale Hellestray made the stop. Troy Aikman cheering on his offensive teammates.
These guys don't move. These guys don't move. The Giants move because the ball is snapped. Eric Williams is still in the stance.
And Tuinei didn't move until the defender was already past him.
Yeah, and then Troy Aikman had to throw the ball away. That was a legal hit by the Giants. And in throwing the ball away, you can do that, but it has to get back to the line of scrimmage, which it didn't.
Tyrone Wheatley deep for the Giants, and he gets his first carry of the day. Hit by Shante Carver at about, he got about a yard. 3-0 Dallas.
Because one of the things that Dan Reeves wants to do is to bring in Tyrone Wheatley like every 3rd series, and of course that's a change of pace from Rodney Hampton, where Rodney Hampton runs more inside the tackles. Tyrone Wheatley can get it out. Tyrone Wheatley's a little quicker. Rodney Hampton stronger. All those different things.
They're both about 230. Brown to Chris Callaway, pushed out of bounds by Marion. But that'll be enough for a first down.
As you watch Dave Brown over the year, he's become a lot more confident. I mean, just the way he carries himself, and I think he's a lot better at this, a lot better at play faking, ball faking, getting a tight spiral on the ball, finding things, has a little more confidence, and I mean, he's just a young quarterback that you can see growing.
In fact, you can see the whole Giant offensive unit gaining in confidence. This is Wheatley. over Howard Cross, and then Shante Carver was there.
Yeah, he was trying to make a move, and he couldn't wait, so he had to run into Howard Cross, his own guy.
That's pretty typical of a young runner. Can't wait.
Yeah, and then, you know, that was the thing. Remember last week, Ricky Waters was talking about that.
Yeah.
He learned from Walter Payton. He said that on certain runs, you just have to have more patience.
2nd and 9. Here's Brown. A lot of time, all the time he needed. Chased finally out of the pocket by Lett, and now Dave Brown's going to take off. He just ran over.
It was Deion Sanders. Yeah. And that was all about Deion Sanders. He was trying to throw. What they tried to do is get Deion in the middle, and that's the guy he was trying to throw to. Watch the whole thing. It's all about this. He's trying to get Deion in there. He's trying to get Callaway there. Callaway falls down. Deion has good coverage, see? But Dave Brown was looking at Callaway all the way. And then when he couldn't throw it to him and he couldn't beat him that way, he said, well, what the heck, I'll just run on him. But he was watching Deion Sanders all the way on that play.
And Deion was watching him go by as he ran over. Timeout.
But Deion had good coverage on Callaway, though.
Yeah. It's a timeout for the Giants, so they'll have 2 left. Christmas is coming. We're at Texas Stadium. 3-0 Cowboys.
Callaway lined up in the wrong side.
4 wide receivers. Herschel Walker moves back toward Brown. Leon Lett had him, and he got away. Brown to the 20. 10. Out of bounds at about the 5. It'll be 1st and goal from there.
You know, that happened twice in a row here, Pat, where Dave Brown was trying to get a crossing pattern. Remember, we saw the earlier one. He was trying to get it to Callaway. This time, watch Herschel Walker come across. Dave Brown is looking there, trying to get him on the cross. Leon Lett changes his mind, and when he comes out there, there is no containment on his right side at all, and there's no one downfield. They'd run the whole defense out, and Dave Brown could run all the way down the 4-yard line.
1st and goal, Giants at the 3. Wheatley got about a yard.
I think if I were Dan Reeves, I don't know that I wouldn't put Rodney Hampton in here.
I think I would.
That Rodney Hampton, he's putting an extra tight end and an extra offensive lineman in now, taking his 2 wide receivers out, getting 2 bigger blockers in here. But I think I'd put that guy in there too, because he's not only stronger, but he also has a great feel for goal line offense.
I was just going to say that. Down in here, he knows how and what it takes to get it in the end zone.
Where's the best runner for the Giants so far has been Dave Brown.
Wheatley deep. Touchdown, Giants. Tyrone Wheatley from a yard out. And the Giants have taken the lead.
Had they made that field goal, it would have been a bigger lead.
Now you think back to last week in Philadelphia when the Cowboys let Rodney Peete scramble. This time the key play was a Dave Brown scramble.
Yeah, a couple of Dave Brown scrambles and getting them down on the goal line there and that right side of the offensive line. You know, Lance Smith and Riesenberg and those guys controlling that right side.
Well, they've already got more points, the Giants do, than they did on opening night when they were at home at Giant Stadium.
And they're playing a heck of a lot better, too.
Oh, boy, and you can see them gaining that magic confidence.
Down, the double team starts here with Doug Riesenberg and Howard Cross. They get the double team. This starts the hole. Then Greg Bishop pulls from here around here to lead Tyrone Wheatley through the hole. See, the double team starts to give you a hole right there. Now watch Bishop. Boom, right there. He gets Woodson, and that gets Wheatley into the end zone.
Dan Uiso kicks off to Kevin Williams, standing at the goal line. Reverse to Sanders. Nothing. Lost yardage.
That didn't fool the Giants at all. That was great special teams coverage.
That's that picture. If you can see the stadium in the background, is from the Blockbuster video blimp. You know, with appropriate wind conditions, it can travel at speeds up to 90 miles an hour. It's equipped with rocket boosters.
What?
It can. No telling how fast it can go with those boosters.
Yeah, you know what I did? I challenged him to a race. It used to be like 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour. And I said anything that hovers can't go fast. Now what are you telling me, 90 miles?
You didn't know that when you made the bet?
90 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it depends on the wind. It can go faster than that with the
Better have
booster.
a hurricane. Better have a hurricane.
Emmett Smith, the ball carrier. Stacy Dillard made the stop.
What they need is a double hurricane. 95.
You didn't know about those boosters.
95, no, those things. They're like those old tackles in the old days that used to stand around the line of scrimmage and watch out for the draw and the screen.
They have accepted the challenge.
Yeah, they get a challenge. There's Deion Sanders in there now at wide receiver, lined up way up there in the top.
He's on the right, Michael Irvin on the left. Aikman gives it to Emmett Smith. And Smith around the corner, steps out of bounds. Again, let's send you back to Hollywood and James Brown for a McDonald's game break. In Philadelphia last night. Now we throw it back to him in Hollywood. He's quick. Don't want to race him. Aikman. Flag on the play as Aikman was rushed hard. Irvin.
Yeah, that was Robert Harris again.
Yeah.
Harris was the guy that hit Aikman on the sideline when he threw the ball away. Harris is the guy that got him here, working against Eric Williams. You know, the first time, of course, I think that was on Derek Kennard because he snapped the ball early.
Holding, number 22 on the defense.
Sparks
5 yards.
on Irvin.
First down.
You see right here, there's Felipe Sparks right there. Again, they want to bump him. They want to be physical with him, but you have to get off him at a certain point.
Yeah.
You know, and Michael Irvin is such a physical wide receiver that Felipe Sparks has now had 3 penalties against him, but to be honest with you, that's the only way to play Michael Irvin.
Emmett Smith again. He got about 4 that time.
Pat, even though you're jamming him outside, I want you guys stay with him. Stay with him, all right? Keep frustrating him, guys. You've got to get your hands on him every time.
They're talking about Michael Irvin.
You're doing a good job on his disguises now.
That's Zevin Urelian. He's the defensive backfield coach, Pat, and that's what he was telling him. You got to be physical with him, because if you're physical with him, don't let him get the ball, he will get frustrated. And that's what teams have been doing to Michael Irvin. They've been frustrating him because he hasn't been getting the ball.
2nd and 6. Reverse. And this is Deion Sanders. And he got a first down with the reverse. Coleman Rudolph brought him down, but Sanders.
He has quickness, doesn't he?
Boy, he does.
Yeah, everyone says that, you know, who's the fastest player in the National Football League? It's this guy here, Deion Sanders. And when he gets motoring, he can go. All you have to do is, knock a couple guys down, because if he ever gets behind him, he's going to go all the way. You see, he started as a wide receiver there. He got a blocker out in front of him. There's Daryl Johnston got one. Michael Irvin didn't get that block for him.
1st and 10. And Aikman back to throw on first down. Pump fake. Ball slipped out of his hand. Irvin still came up with it. Vince Glenn back on the coverage, but Michael Irvin made the adjustment.
Well, that's what they have to do. I think if you're a playmaker and you're the big guy on that team, and they're going to get you the ball, that even they do rotate towards you, even if they do get physical with you, you still have to get the ball to them. And that's what they're doing here. That was a rotation. They rotated up. The safety came over, but he just got in between them. And he is so physical and so good at the end of the play. If the ball is in the air anywhere, he is going to get it for you.
That ball slipped out of Aikman's hand right there. He hates to throw a wet ball anyway.
I know, but look how Michael Irvin will position his body where he's going to catch the ball and then position against the defenders.
This is a Dallas timeout. So both teams have 2 left in the first half. It's 7-3 Giants.
You think about
Troy Aikman's eyes, you know he is watching Michael Irvin all the way. Now watch Michael Irvin. When the ball's thrown, he doesn't even look. He knows where the ball's going to be. He just goes and goes and goes. Now he takes that peek over his shoulder as he runs by Vincey Glenn. He has to get by Vincey Glenn. Then he positions his body to catch the ball and keep the off safety away from him. In essence, on that play, there were 3 defensive backs on Michael Irvin.
Cowboy first down at the Giant 18. Aikman. Incomplete. Intended for Kevin Williams.
And that's a bad throw there by Troy Aikman because he had Kevin Williams. There was no one on Kevin Williams. And I think he's so used to throwing to the other guys. He's not used to throwing to Kevin Williams, but that's not Kevin Williams' fault. And watch Kevin Williams. The defender on his side fell down.
You see the ball flutter? He hates, as I said a minute ago, he just hates to throw a wet ball.
Well, it's darn near beyond hate. It's very close to paranoia about a wet ball. And he threw that one like he was flopping one out of there.
Here he gives to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt caught from behind by Harris.
Yeah, there's a guy that's playing a pretty good game on defense today, this Robert Harris. He was a guy that, forced Aikman to throw the ball away. He was a guy that hit him, although there was a penalty on Felipe Sparks. And he's a guy here on this play came all the way across the field to tackle Emmitt Smith. And in essence, put the Cowboys now in a passing situation.
And there he comes.
Yep, he came all the way across from left end, all the way across the field.
3rd and 7. Aikman under fire. Rolled and tried to throw the screen pass to Darrell Johnston. It just didn't get there.
Yeah, Stacy Dillard was there. What he tried to do, and this really isn't like the Cowboys. I mean, I'm surprised they just don't go back and try and throw the ball to Michael Irvin there, but they tried to like roll right, which they don't do a lot of, roll right, screen back or screen left. Stacy Dillard gets there. You see him roll out here to his right. Now he's going to try and stop and throw a screen back here to Moose Johnston, but I'm not too sure where that one came from.
That one's never going to work. Boniol hits the field goal. That's his 19th in a row. That one from 33 yards. And it's 7-6. The Giants over the Cowboys. Herschel Walker. The ball carrier. I'm sure my partner John Madden does.
Well, the funny thing about that play is I had Cotton Davidson later, and every time I'd talk about coverage, I'd say, boy, now this is a tough coverage, because the guy disguises and all this. And Cotton would say, I'll tell you about a tough coverage. He said, I'm playing for the Texans. We're playing in Boston. I throw a slant to Burford, and some fan comes out and knocks the ball down. I said, blown. Because Cotton was one of those guys that exaggerated. That's the first time I've seen Cotton was telling the truth all these years.
And the fan just disappeared back into the crowd. Nothing happened.
Didn't see it. They said, no, game's over. Game's over.
Here's Dave Brown back to throw it. Coming across the middle is Mike Sherrard, who makes the catch. The question, the Aflac question is, who were the 8 original AFL teams? There they are, the Boston Patriots, the Bills, the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Texans, not the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Oilers, the Chargers, the Titans of New York, and the Oakland Raiders. And that's who they become.
Of course, like you said, Dallas Cowboys are... Cowboys then moved in here, and the Dallas Texans moved to Kansas City.
Good run by Hampton. Past midfield. Good run by Hampton.
That crossing pattern, that one that Mike Sherrard caught just on the play before this is one thing I think that the Cowboy defense is very vulnerable to. I think the 49ers exposed them.
Yep.
I think the Redskins worked on that game plan. And until they put some of those fires out that were lit by the 49ers, this Cowboy defense is still going to be susceptible to things.
Especially those crossing patterns. 2nd down. And they give to Hampton. Hampton stretches out, but I don't think he got the first down.
The other thing that they're susceptible to is movement and motion. That's what the 49ers did, then the Redskins did. And the Giants are not a big movement team. By movement, I mean, you know, shifts and motion and those kind of things. But in this first half, we're seeing as much motion and shifting from a Giants team that I've seen in a long time.
The thing about the Cowboy defense is they don't change a lot of things. They just say, sort of, here we are, here's what we're going to do, and you got to beat us.
That and a part that they have Deion Sanders playing man-to-man and the other guys playing zone, and then they try and get them to look at one thing, then do something else.
Red Cashin says they need about 6 inches.
That has to be quarterback sneak situation. I think Dave Brown has probably been the most effective runner for the Giants in this first half.
He has.
I would think if I were going to call a play, and of course Dan Reeves calls the plays, this one has quarterback sneak written all over it.
Dan Reeves, of course, spent many years here as a player and then an assistant coach. Still well respected and liked by this entire area.
Isn't it something how he still talks about Coach Landry?
Yep. Said he had dinner with Walt Garrison Friday night. Brown gives to Hampton. And Hampton, just with his strength, got the first down.
Yeah, that's the thing about Rodney Hampton is you know, you're going to have to do some blocking, but if you get enough blocking to get him back to the line of scrimmage, you know, he's going to get the first down for you just on his strength. I think Rodney Hampton has gone to becoming one of the most underrated players in this league.
He's certainly a player you'd like to have. Brown fakes to him. Goes deep for Sherrard. Deion Sanders, the defender. And he was right with him.
You know, all the Giant receivers were talking this week about who Deion was going to cover. You know, one thing is, on one part, you don't want Deion to cover you because then the quarterback's not going to look there a lot. But on the other hand, you want to be the guy. I mean, here's Deion Sanders here. He's working against Mike Sherrard. So now Sherrard could say, hey, I'm playing in the game and Deion's covered me. And they're throwing deep to me and I beat him. I just didn't have both feet inbound. Well, Mike Sherrard was pushing off a little there too, wasn't he?
They both were shoving. Second down. Brown to throw. Chase gets the screen pass out to Hampton, who's chased from behind by Lex, who misses. And Hampton gets close to another Giant first down. Stopped by Miles, finally, Godfrey Miles.
Dan Reeves is doing a good job of mixing up plays here. You know, again, we talk about Michael Irvin being a physical guy. Deion Sanders is physical when the ball is in the air. So Mike Sherrard was physical there with Deion Sanders. But they were both locked up just before that ball got there, weren't they?
They really. 3rd and 1. They're 4 out of 6 in this game, in this situation. Fake to Hampton. Aaron Pierce, flag on the play. Deion Sanders back with him.
And they finally got him. I think they're going to get one of them. This has been a very physical game downfield on both sides by the defensive backs, Felipe Sparks, and by Deion Sanders. They've gotten Felipe Sparks like 3 times already, and they got Deion Sanders on this one. That was a good call. Short yardage. Yep. You know, they get all up in there, fake the run in there, and then throw that play pass.
You know what, Dave?
Holding number 21 on the defense. 5 yards. First down.
Dave Brown has gotten to be a much better faker, hiding the ball.
Well, watch how he did that. You see how he started that, then he put his head down, and you see what Deion Sanders is doing. He was all over Aaron Pierce.
That faking and that ball handling ability goes back to Steve DeBerg.
Right, and part of that is Steve DeBerg. Part of that is good fake by Dave Brown, and the other part is watch Rodney Hampton. He puts his hands down like he has the ball, and he jumps over like he's going for a short yardage play.
Giant first down. The give is to Hampton to about the 26-yard line of Dallas. 2-minute warning. Both teams have just been notified, and the Giants lead the Cowboys by 1 point, 7-6. shaky for a couple of days, and it hasn't gone away, obviously.
Leon Letts moved back in at tackle now.
Brown back to throw it. Pass complete to Charles Way. Knocked out of bounds after he picked up a couple.
Yeah, the Cowboys like to rotate their defensive linemen, so with Charles Haley being out, Leon Lett has moved to end, and then when they want to rotate, they'll bring Shante Carver in sometimes as the end, and then put Leon Lett back in at the tackle. I would think that, you know, with Charles Haley out and needing a dominant player, I think I would just leave Leon Lett out there at defensive end and let him dominate from there.
Elias is in the backfield with Brown. Is Callaway in motion? Again, Brown gets away from Herman McCormick this time and slides out of bounds at the 15 and gets the first down.
Hey, we were talking to Dave Brown yesterday, and he said the only weather that bothers him is wind. He said this wet ball and rain and nothing bothers him. But the other thing that he really likes here is he looks and looks and looks, and then he always keeps moving. And if you give him an open lane or an open area or a soft spot in the defense, he'll not only throw into it, but he'll also run into it. And he's been very effective in running into soft spots that this Cowboy defense has given him.
First down, Giants. The fake is to Hampton. Brown. Incomplete. Broken up by Deion Sanders. Intended for Callaway.
Well, that was a good play fake there. That was a good play fake, but then you throw to the guy that Deion Sanders is covering. Look at this. David Brown, 42 yards. Smith, 45 yards. But watch the play fake here. Again, good play fake. The old bootleg. And then he had no one. He was trying to go to the middle. Callaway on the left side was his second choice.
2nd and 10. Callaway in motion. Brown to Hampton. Hampton inside the 10 to about the 8. Couple short of a first down. Dixon Edwards tripped him up.
Yeah, you would think the way things are going that they could darn near stay with Dave Brown running or Rodney Hampton running. Although I think in this first half that Dan Reeves has done a heck of a job of mixing plays up.
Really?
Mixing plays, mixing formation, mixing personnel, shifting guys, moving guys. And he's kind of kept this Cowboy defense off balance.
3rd and 2. They're 5 out of 7 on 3rd down conversions. Brown to Hampton, first down. Boy, he's like a missile.
Yeah, if you can get that line of scrimmage, just like I said before, if you can get that line of scrimmage for him so you don't get any penetration and get him there, he can just put his head down and just power the rest of the way. A lot of P's in that.
Well, they said yesterday, and you said in the beginning, they had to be able to run. And they are doing it. Hampton by Lett.
And that's the way to stop it right there. See, like I said, you have to stop him before they get to the line of scrimmage so he doesn't get penetration. That play, Leon Lett got penetration.
Giant timeout. They have one left. The Giants lead the Cowboys by a point. They have one timeout left. And don't forget, coming up at the half, the Dockers halftime report with J.B. Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. All the scores, playoff situation. 2nd and goal at the 5. The Giants with one timeout left. Brown. High in the end zone, intended for Callaway. He appeared to be open.
Oh, and Brown's upset. He knows it. He had him wide open, that thing. All he had to do was get him the ball. Look at this drive here. This is the thing that is great for the Giants and really frustrates the Cowboys. You know, 14 plays. Look, almost 5 minutes they've had that ball. I don't know if that ball was a little wet or got away, but there's no spiral on it.
It's wet.
It did look like a wet ball. And that just took off on him.
Anytime you put the ball on this carpet, it's going to be wet.
But he had Chris Callaway was wide open on that end line.
Third down. Brown to throw. He's got some room. Touchdown. It's a touchdown. Dave Brown.
Dave Brown lost his shoe and everything. Lost his shoe, the ball. He sold out on that. That's what you call a quarterback selling out, because he knew he was going to take some hits. But he is going to watch him. He's looking to his left. Then he looks to the middle. Then when he looks out here, he says, oh, boy, look what I got. Again, finding a soft spot to run in this defense. Again, and then he just put that ball down. And now once it breaks the plane, that's a touchdown, even though it did come out when it hit the ground.
Extra point by D'Aloiso is good. And it's 14-6 Giants. 9 plays, 4 minutes, 17 seconds. They kept the ball.
And there's a guy who sold out. He still hasn't caught his breath yet. He's still trying to get all the air that he had before that run back into him. Because he dove on that thing, lost his shoe. His shoe went flopping off.
And the ball came flying into the end zone after he had broken the plane.
Watch his eyes here. Right now, when he sees it right there, he can see that if he can just beat one guy there, that he can get a touchdown. And that's exactly what he did. Robert Bailey was the guy. The Cowboys were in their nickel defense. Robert Bailey's number 23. He was the guy that he ends up having to beat. You see, but when he looks back here and he sees this, you see how soft it is in here? In other words, by soft, there's no one really between him and the goal line. And the only guy there was number 23, and he beat him, Robert Bailey. And, of course, Bill Bates comes across after he got to.
There's Dave Brown with Stan White. Look at this rushing comparison.
Yeah, who would have thought that you would say that in the first half, Dave Brown has rushed for more yardage than Emmitt Smith after what Emmitt Smith does, and everyone knows what he does to this Giant defense.
The Cowboys have 14 seconds remaining. Kevin Smith, and he got a little alley for a moment out to about the 32. Don't forget, next Saturday a Fox NFL 12:30 Pacific, and nobody wants to play the Detroit Lions.
I think, you know, everyone you talk to, they say, well, there's one team out there that worries us. That was the Detroit Lions.
Aikman takes the snap, kneels down. It's not a popular decision.
Well, the fans are booing him, I think, because the fans are frustrated, too. I mean, that was a great drive by the Giants. It kept the Cowboys off the field, got the Giants a touchdown, and the Cowboys are just getting frustrated. You know, they've only scored one offensive touchdown in the last 6 quarters.
There was a flag, a penalty on that last play.
But this, you know, what you're seeing on the sidelines, the coaches, the players.
Defense, 5 yards, still first down.
You know, you think back, they beat San Diego. They beat the Raiders. They beat Kansas City. Supposedly the 3 of the better teams in the AFL. In the AFC, excuse me. And then they start games within their own division. And they've lost 2 in a row, and they're behind in the 3rd.
Look at Bill Bates. He's yelling at the crowd.
At the half at Texas Stadium, the Giants 14 and Dallas 6.